So it's not for kids.
We see if I can quote the entire Hot Dr. Pepper video by heart, like right now.
Oh, yeah, you said you were going to talk. I thought that video was really funny.
Wait, you'd seen it before, though, right?
No, that was the first time I've seen it.
Me posting it in the Discord was the first time you'd ever seen Hot Dr. Pepper?
Yeah, it was really good.
I'm glad you liked it. I've been obsessed with that video for years now.
Hold on, I have to put in the bibliography.
It's one of the most, like, just joyous videos ever posted to YouTube, and it only
very wholesome,
has like 1.1 million views, which sounds like a lot, but in YouTube scale it's like nothing. I still haven't even had Hot Dr. Pepper.
I don't like Dr. Pepper. I should probably get that out there.
I am inclined to agree with you. It's honestly kind of mid as a soda.
Dr. Pepper's tastes like what I imagine like the Kopi Luau process is, but for like cough syrup.
The Kopi Luau
like
process?
They fed cough syrup to a cat and the cat pooped it out, and then they steeped the cat poop in like a filter, and that's what you get is like the pooped out cough syrup. Cherry flavored, by the way.
I swear to God, like sometimes like your brain comes up with some of the most unhinged metaphors like I've ever heard. And I feel like I'm like the weird one of the show. Like, and it's crazy some of the stuff you come up with. Like, I don't know how it happens.
I've definitely got a penchant for poop. I feel like that's the difference between the two of us. Like, you definitely have the more unhinged takes generally, but like sometimes I just work the gross stuff in there.
Yeah, you're all about the scatological, the poop penchant. I like that a lot.
You had a bit. You want to do your bit now?
I had a bit? Oh, shit.
Yeah, you said you were going to start the show you're like, oh, hold on, I'm going to keep this for when we do the show.
Fuck, I remember saying that. What was I talking about? Damn. I think it was just like one of those things. It was like an observational comedy bit. Like I just was like, oh, you know, like that thing that happens when this comes up in your life, and then you just go, what the hell? And like we just put up with that as a society. Like it was gonna be some shit like that, and and it's funny how like
I think it's funnier that you're doing the template for it.
Exactly.
You can't remember what it is.
Like it was just gonna be like that, you know, classic bit stuff, and I can't remember.
Welcome to Shelf Stable, a podcast celebrating board games that have stood the test of time. I'm your host, Kenny Katayama.
And I'm the other host, Tom Bowers. Today, the feature topic is game nights for date nights. The game that you should bring to your hot date that you have lined up this Valentine's Day. But before we talk about that, we're just going to talk about stuff we've been playing around with recently.
Tom, I got to play a game called City of the Big Shoulders from 2019 designer Raymond Chandler III and published by Parallel. They recently reprinted this as Chicago 1875: City of the Big Shoulders. This is a pretty elegant marriage of 18XX with worker placement Euro stuff. So you're doing the investment, the stocks. It works almost exactly like an 18XX, except instead of putting trains and rails on the board, you are generating resources and running those resources through converters to get more money to then invest, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's so funny that the game was called City of Big Shoulders, and then they were like, fuck, the 18XX crowd isn't buying it. The Euro crowd is like, this is too much. So they slapped the Chicago 1875 : at the beginning, and then the 18XXs were like, oh, okay, I'm in. The other thing that I think is like really funny is there's like no trains. This is all about industrialization in Chicago and setting up the industries and stuff. And then they just like randomly put a big wooden train as the first player marker, because they're like, oh no, we're going to lose them again. And so they just stick this in, and you're like, why is there a train? There's no trains in this game. They just put the train in there so people can be like, phew, I thought I wasn't playing a train game for a second, but they reassured me by giving me this big wooden train. I think this is the best game that I've played this year so far. I know it's only been like a month, but I've played a number of games since the year started, and this one really, really stuck with me. It really wowed me. It takes everything that I like about the 18xx genre and puts like a really, really fresh coat of paint on it and gives you a completely different kind of problem to solve. And it does so in a way that's really rewarding. I'm actually surprised that not more people talk about this, but I suspect it's because of that misfiring, right? It could be the 18xxers just don't know to try this out. It could be that the Eurogamers just felt misled or overwhelmed by what they were playing. But like for that specific niche of people who are like, I don't like trains, or I prefer cube pushers, but I kind of want to mess with the investments / ruthlessness of like doing all this accounting and going nuts. This is like the perfect game. Is it my favorite 18xx? Probably not, but like it's high up there. I really, really enjoyed this. And I didn't even do particularly well. I think I got like third. I was just loving every minute of it. It just was like boom, boom, boom. It was like firing on all cylinders. So very much enjoyed this.
I feel like it's kind of a go-to bit for you to be like, yeah, I really like this game. And I even sucked ass at it. Like I just like fucking fell on my face the whole game. And like, I still had fun.
It's like the political quadrants. It's like sucking ass, being good, liking, disliking. And there's like, you're in one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
I think especially for you, it's important to qualify.
You think so? I feel like I'm not all that hot at games most of the time. You really think I have like that much of like a win bias?
I do think you have quite a bit of, you have less of a win bias and more of a lose bias.
Mm-mm.
Because when you lose terribly, you're like, here are all the reasons this game sucks. And it's not because I'm bad at it.
Hey, just because it happened with Food Chain Magnate does not mean it's every game, okay? Okay. You know what? I can accept that I'm biased against games that I lose at if you can accept that you're boba.
You know what? Deal. I'm boba.
Okay.
I admit it.
We did it.
Big Shoulders. I think this is a great intro to 18xx as well. If you've been kind of apprehensive about them. I don't think it's any simpler. I will qualify that. But yeah, if you're just more into like industry and cube pushing than you are like putting a bunch of squiggly lines on a map to pretend they're train tracks, I think this is like a great alternative. It's on BGA too, so you could play it async. That was a Chicago 1875 : City of the Big Shoulders.
Hell yeah. Chicago is a cool place.
They got pizza in Chicago.
They do have that, which is one of the 5 words in the title of this game that I'm going to talk about.
Tom, I gave you a softball. And
I'm segueing. This is a segue. What?
And you know what also goes really good on a pizza?
I was just pointing out how this game has 5 words in the title.
Like, let's add a little bit of go. It's one of the 5 words.
I don't want any of these things on my pizza.
This reminds me of the Malcolm in the Middle joke where Lois is like, "Oh, what seems to be the problem, officer?" And then Hal is like, "I need you to make love to me right now." She's like, Hal, you're supposed to like role play more, not just like jump directly to them.
I hope you're not putting some of these things on your pizza, but you can put a taco, a cat, a goat, and a cheese on your pizza from 2018. Better. Taco, cat, goat, cheese pizza, designed by Dave Campbell II and published by Dolphin Hat Games. Why am I talking about this game on the show? Well, believe it or not, it is not a brand new game. It is now a 8 years old game. This is going to sound like a really hot take coming from us, but I think it's actually a pretty good game. Just straight up fun.
You're not going to hear objections from me. I think it's a decent game too.
Wow. I was expecting some objections.
Really? I would prefer playing Anomia or Jungle Speed, but I think this is like in that same ballpark.
Yeah. I think Jungle Speed has something going for it that is, I'm looking at the words irresistibly smooth because there's like a bag of Lindt chocolates like in my eye line. So it's gonna say Jungle Speed's irresistible. No, but when I was playing Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza, I was like, this is just jungle speed, but with less specificity. It has a lot of the same characteristics. Like, they blend over well. I don't know why you would own both in your collection necessarily. My point is that if you don't have jungle speed, I think you're getting like 90% of the same experience out of Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza. Slapping cards in the center of a table while saying funny things is funny. Although I will admit that the words taco, cat, goat, cheese, and pizza are very like millennial coded, lol, so random type shit.
Right. It's a little cringe, but it's like, it's also for families. And it's not like, it could have been like taco, yeet, dab, fidget spinner, pizza,
Yeah.
It's not that bad. It's like lol random, but it's generic.
They should figure out a way to like do that. Something skibbity 6-7 and something else. like
taco, yeet, skibbity, dab, 6-7.
Exactly. No, get rid of taco and make it Minecraft. Minecraft, yeet, 6-7, skibbity. Chicken jockey. Yeah. I don't know.
We're just gonna this can go for a while, so maybe we should stop it ahead of time.
Ender pearl, chicken jockey. I don't know. Yeah. What are you actually saying, though?
This game lives in a similar space as Wingspan and Catan, where it's doing the board game hobby a service because it's accessible enough and it's present enough in stores that somebody might just pick this up because it looks interesting, and this can get them into the hobby. I think that people can enjoy this game so much that they go down the path of starting to explore what else is out there. Even for that alone, I think it has merit. When you compare it to something like Cards Against Humanity, which really paints like a negative picture of the hobby, I know we can be a little gatekeepy in board games, not just you and me specifically, but just like board gamers in general. Mm-hmm. I do think this is one where like maybe we should cut a little bit of slack for people who are just exploring board games and they're like, I really like this game. If somebody does that and they bring this to game night, you play it with them and you have a good time. Oh, Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza. There's so many better party games. And even in the dexterity genre, I would rather play Anomia, which is a Mensa Select. Like, don't do that.
Picking Anomia because of the Mensa Select status is like such a vibe. I want to meet that person. I actually want to meet like any person though that like literally knows what Mensa is and cares.
I don't think anyone is in Mensa. I think it's kind of like an Arby's conspiracy theory.
You don't think like Elon Musk like tried really hard and like sent a bunch of desperate emails to the Mensa committee and was like, please guys, you have to consider me for this. Like, I'm literally the smartest man on planet Earth, as far as I can tell.
Bezos bought Mensa just so that he could deny Elon access to it.
That's peak.
And Elon doesn't know. So every year, Elon's like, I'll give you another $1 million. Please let me in. And then Bezos is like, just send him another letter. We had a lot of great people apply this year, and you just barely didn't make the cut.
That's poor rough, Elon. Buddy. Yeah, poor Elon. Probably like... It's hard being a guy like him.
I can't even imagine what it's like to be like a billionaire and not be able to get into Mensa. Feel bad for the guy.
Pour one out for Elon tonight, folks. He needs it.
That's probably why he does all the bad stuff he does. It's because nobody's ever given him any love. That's why on this episode, we're going to teach you date night, game night. Just skip to the meat and potatoes.
Yeah, the only part of the show that anybody comes to listen to.
Okay, do you have anything else do you want to say about Taco or cats?
I think there's variant ways to play this game too. Like, it's a neat game that doesn't overstay its welcome and it kind of knows its place, and it's low-key underrated. And also, this is a game that I lost at, just for the record.
Tom, we talked about this recently. Lords of Vegas from 2010. Designer James Ernest and Mike Selinker, originally published by Mayfair. You might remember that Lords of Vegas made it pretty far, made it to the quarterfinals in our Monopoly Killer competition before both Tom and I realized that neither of us had played it. And then we felt a little weird about it potentially doing even better.
And I was going to feel really good about getting to play this before you did, but I see how it is, Austin. Calling you out. purposefully sidestepping me on the game night with Lords of Vegas, even though he literally pulled it out and set it up halfway. And then I get roped into playing Dungeon Fighter just so that Kenny can be the person to bring it up on the show. Yeah, I still haven't played this.
Kenny asked Austin, can I play Lords of Vegas? Yeah, sure. I'll get it ready. I'll do everything for you. No problem. I love you. And then Tom asked, oh, sorry. I'm really busy tonight. I got other things I got to do.
Yeah.
Lords of Vegas. I'll talk about how I felt about the game and also how I feel it relates to Monopoly. This is definitely a shelf-stable style game. It's a gamble-y, push your luck kind of aspect, paired with a sort of area control, invest in plots of land. You can take over other people's. You can be really ruthless. There's a little food chain magnet vibe in there too. It's pretty lean on the rules, but the rules matter. And there's a ton of twists and turns. There was like shouting around the table when a roll would go a certain way and things. There was like a really fun moment where there was just extremely valuable buildings in Vegas that two players were contesting over. And every round they would switch back and forth between the two players until finally they paid out. And it just happened to be one of the two players. And it was like, yeah, it was like a big moment. Yeah, a lot of just like cool, exciting things happening in this game. I would definitely play this again. I definitely enjoyed it. I highly recommend playing it with poker chips and not with the paper money. It just felt really immersive to get, you're rolling the dice, you're on the strip, you've got your chips and you're clinking your chips on the side. That was just a great experience. How do I feel about it in relation to Monopoly? I am not sold on the Monopoly analogy. I think this is much more like Food Chain Magnet or like modern sensibility kind of like invest and pay dividends kind of games than Monopoly. Like, granted, I probably prefer playing this to a lot of like Monopoly adjacent games. While I can see why people compare it to Monopoly, I feel pretty good about where it landed on the list. And I was even talking to the people around the table and they felt the same way. Nice. Unintentionally, I think it did place exactly where it should have, given its matchups. I'm curious to see how your experience with it is. If you can get Austin to play it with you. Everybody knows Austin likes me more than you, so.
Apparently.
I'm eager to play it again. Do not think it's a Monopoly killer in any way.
Yeah, I'm very curious about this. Based on what little I know, like, I think I am inclined to agree with you. Like, it's a little much for the average Monopoly head to jump on into, but we could probably say similar things for Pan Am. I just feel like Pan Am has better presence. I don't know if you agree or not with that.
Yeah, I agree.
You've actually played this.
Pan Am is a better segue from Monopoly. This lives in the lineage of Acquire. I'm sure this game was strongly inspired by Acquire, and Acquire is already on our list. I think like Acquire is probably a node along the way to Lords of Vegas. I don't think they live as two independent nodes connected to Monopoly.
That makes sense now that you're saying it. I'm like, Machi Koro is the child of Monopoly and Lords of Vegas is the child of Acquire. And then those two games met up and had a baby and it was something else.
Yeah, to be continued. That was Lords of Vegas from 2010.
Okay, Kenny, I'm taking us all the way back. Taking us all the way back to 1984.
Whoa, watch out. Big Brother's listening.
Video game console on the shelf was the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Sledgehammers going through the screen and the Apple computers popping up.
Stuff is happening in the world. And Laura Robinson and Paul Toyne are designing Balderdash, and it's getting picked up in the United States by Mattel. Balderdash, it's funny with this show because I think there's actually a decent contingency of people who listen to this show and have not played this. You know what I mean?
I would agree.
Like, I feel like it'd be easier to just pick up a bunch of like, I don't know, retirees as an audience talking about this game than like Board Game Geek users in Balderdash.
Are you shaming our audience right now? Is that what you're doing?
In a way, I suppose, because Balderdash is a classic, and I hadn't played it in quite a while. There's a lot of like design sensibilities that, especially in the 80s, like this game is not catering to those sensibilities. The card stock is shit. The cards look like shit. The box looks like shit. Everything looks like shit, basically. But what it does is it gives you these weird, archaic words, and sometimes you might know what the word actually means, but most of the time you're not going to know what the word means, but you're going to use everything you know about the English language to come up with the most believable bullshit possible. And then that's going to get mixed in with the actual definition of the word. Everyone kind of gets to vote in order on which one they think it actually is. And if they thought yours was the definition, you get points. If you were anything close to the correct definition, you get even more points. If you manage to guess the actual correct definition despite everyone's bullshit, you also get some points. And it's basically just a race from there. But of course, you can also just play it casual style, moniker style almost, and just be having fun with it, not really caring all that much about the points, just seeing kind of what stuff people come up with. It's a game, like a lot of these classic party games, that makes everyone feel clever. And if you aren't being clever, then you're probably being funny. This definitely leans more in the clever party game than the funny party game. And so if you want that Mensa Select type of environment for your game nights, I think Balderdash is actually a better pick than Anomia, hilariously enough. Yeah, I'm curious what you think about this. I'm sure you've played it at least at some point.
I've only played Beyond Balderdash, which I've played a few times, but I've never played Balderdash proper.
Beyond Balderdash?
Yeah, so the way Beyond Balderdash works is you have like 5 different categories on each card. Instead of it being a word, it'll be like a specific date. I don't even remember what the other ones are, but it'll be like these different categories of things. You pick one, and then there's an actual fact about that category. And everyone else writes an incorrect fact, or, you know, just what they think is probably the most likely thing to happen.
Okay.
So same idea, but it's just more variations on that.
You know what, though? That gives me a great idea for a party game that is like almost the same thing, but it's mildly different. So hear me out. Jeopardy answers are the prompts, and everyone has to come up with like the question, quote unquote.
Oh, that's good.
You know, but it's like you can make the goal being hilarious or you can make it being something else. I don't know. Probably leans into just being funny. Now that I'm saying this, I think this is literally already a British panel show.
I like Beyond Balderdash. I think you've described it really well, where it's a game that makes you feel clever. And I assume Balderdash is very similar. I don't know which one's better without having played both, but I can assume they're pretty similar. Like, you know, Balderdash probably has the advantage of being leaner, whereas Beyond Balderdash gives you more interesting things to do. So it might be a Brass Lancashire versus Brass Birmingham kind of situation. Brass Balderdash.
I don't know if I'd go that far based on your description. I think Beyond Balderdash, from what you're describing, sounds like the logical sort of next step or evolution of the game. Without having played it, I wouldn't be surprised if it's nearly a Balderdash killer, except for the extremely like lexicographically inclined.
I heard Lords of Vegas is the Balderdash killer, but I haven't played it yet. So,
well, I heard Monopoly Deal is the killer of everything, killer of all.
That's true. That's the board game Calyx killer.
It kills our listenership, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's true. You're not wrong.
That was Balderdash from 1984.
100 games to play before you die.
Okay, Kenny, it's time to talk about the 100 games that you're supposed to play before you die or do something else. Game number 64 on that list is The Seventh Continent from 2017, designed by Ludovic Roudy and published by Serious Poulp.
Yeah, Seventh Continent is on here as kind of a narrative
Kenny,
exploration.
why is this game on the list?
Holy moly. Seventh Continent is on here because it's a choose your own adventure kind of explorative narrative driven game. The one that people are maybe the most familiar with as of today is Sleeping Gods. But there's been a number of these. I think these live in a different space than like Gloomhaven or some of those battler games, because like the things you're doing are very secondary. I think it's really what you're reading, what you explore that matters more. The biggest example of this, I think the next evolution would be Vantage, which I don't think Tom and I have played. New Game Alert. That's what this spot is in for this category. I actually think Sleeping Gods is better than Seventh Continent, but Sleeping Gods was not eligible at the time that we made this list because it was not shelf stable. So Seventh Continent was the next thing. I also think like, you know, homage and respect to like the original like fighting fantasy books. If anybody read any of those as a teen or a kid, there's a bunch of these choose your own adventures that had a little bit of RPG dice rolling elements as well. These were sold as books and you kind of flipped from number to number inside the books to navigate a different adventure, a different dungeon, depending on what kind of scenario you were playing. I feel like I've already kind of explained it, but just in case people are unclear, you are exploring a world and you're doing that by pulling these square cards that represent either things that are happening and, you know, items that exist or like parts of a map. And based on which direction you go in, you take out the matching card, you go and search for that particular numbered card. And then you reveal new things. And the sense of wonder, the sense of discovery is really the appeal of these kinds of games. I don't think that the rest of the game is that good, honestly. I think it was fine the first few times I played it, but this really started to drag on me to the point where I started skipping the entire game and just walked around the map like I would reading a choose your own adventure or something. Because it's just a lot of survival upkeep. You're navigating this seventh continent, which is like an island that has mysterious things going on. Mm-hmm. And what starts off as being an interesting management system to make sure you're eating enough to not get too injured and things like that just becomes a complete nuisance maybe an hour into playing. And then you're just like, let's just pretend I have infinite life. Let's turn the cheats on. And I just want to see what happens. Because that's the fun part. I'd say either play Sleeping Gods, which has a more compelling action system / game around it, or play Seventh Continent strictly as an exploration game. Like mess around with the food and health at the beginning, but then when you feel like it's not fun anymore, just like start exploring the map.
I'm very curious about like Sleeping Gods, the series specifically. The title, the artwork, like definitely fascinates and interests me.
I think it's got cool things going on.
Gotta try it out.
Seventh Continent.
Okay, well, enough yapping, enough bullshitting, enough doing whatever the fuck we've been doing, whatever kind of nonsense that we've been yapping about. It's time to get into the serious part of the show, the part of the podcast that Elon Musk is specifically waiting impatiently to listen to. The part of the show that we always call the real meat and potatoes, and that is the main topic of this week's episode. That is games that you should bring on a date to try and impress. Top 10 most seductive games according to Watch Mojo.
Should we talk about like how to approach this too? Maybe that's where we start. Because you're jumping right in, but I think you could learn from this.
31 best board games for adults from New York Magazine. Okay. Adults only.
Adults only. I didn't even know there were 31.
Top of the list. Just one piece of clothing.
Can you imagine playing just one with just two?
No.
All right, before we talk about specific games, let's start with an important thing. If you are doing games for a date night, there should definitely be consent. Just like with anything else.
Wow.
There's nothing worse than like, ooh, I got a nice evening planned for us. We're going to play Sleeping Gods followed by Agricola.
Food chain magnate.
And you, the person on the other end of this is just like, oh God. I would even go further and say you need to prioritize having an experience that you're both going to like over whatever stupid effing game that you were trying to get to the table. I mean, that should always be the case. But like, especially on a moment that's supposed to be intimate, that's supposed to be time between the two of you, you are either picking something that you're okay with that they love, or you're picking something that you both love. Okay. And you got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, does your partner really like Food Chain? I'm talking to you right now, listener. Does your partner really like Food Chain? Does your partner really like Pax Pamir at 2 players? Really? Like, do they really like it?
I got the perfect line for this, right? Don't be the Christian Grey of board game date night.
I don't know what that is.
Fucking, you need to get cultured, son.
What is Christian Grey?
Antagonist of 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, I don't know. Didn't read it.
It's like a pun because it's like his name, and he like shows her his 50 shades, all of his there's different shades of curtains that he's bought. And it's like so torturous being in the same room as a guy that collects 50 different colors of curtain.
They should do like a parody that's like 50 shelves of gray.
50 collects.
Why has nobody thought of this? 50 shelves of gray?
It's just the
right
same
there.
story, except he's playing the 50 games from that latter half of your list. It's like number 50 through 100.
Oh,
and
Lord.
then she turns 100 years old at the end and dies.
It turns out gray was Jimmy Carter all along. 50 shelves of Jimmy.
50 shelves of Jimmy. Not Carter, Jimmy. That's good.
All right, no, we got to get back on track.
Yeah, like serious note, just like make sure that the other person like wants this to be the way things go, you know? You can always sweeten the deal, I think.
Yes, you can sweeten the deal, but it shouldn't even be transactional because I think that's not very romantic. I don't think it's like, I will do this thing you like with me and then we will return to the home and play Food Chain Magnate. No, just like find common ground. It's always better to find common ground than like make a transaction, especially when it's supposed to be a date night. If it's just like a regular night, that's different.
Or make it transactional if it's written into your contract.
Yeah, who am I to like tell people what the right or wrong way to do? I'm just like, I'm trying to think about like, what is the intent behind a date night, you know?
Yeah, mostly just like make sure you have it like in writing ahead of time so that people understand that
Make
you
sure
both
it's
agreed
notarized.
to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You promised
it
me.
wasn't coercive.
I don't care you're not in the mood. You promised me Pax Pamir after the meal.
You signed the contract. Yeah.
What would be the worst game to put a non-board gamer through at 2 players?
Worst game to put a non-gamer through at 2 players. Twilight Struggle.
No prior knowledge. Yeah, that's rough.
I mean, I don't even know if that's entirely true because like if they are like a person who's just interested in anything that has to do with the real world, like I think sort of the information and the events of the Cold War like could lead to prompting to be like, oh, I'm like, you know, what was this? Maybe Campaign for North Africa is like worse.
Well, nobody plays that though. That's not a real game. That's just something like that's something that people made up for like the Big Bang Theory or whatever.
Yeah, that's fair. Cards Against Humanity, 2-player Cards Against Humanity.
I know Campaign for North Africa is a meme or whatever, and it's like a real game, but like nobody actually plays it, right? Like not even war gamers play it.
I don't even think the guy that made it like has actually
I don't think
finished
so.
playing it.
Can you imagine playtesting that game? Hachi machi.
I'm really puzzling now. Like, what's like the worst fucking 2-player experience that you could force someone to?
I know it's in the
experience?
top 100, guaranteed.
What?
Right? It's got to be in the top 100. Let me just.
Well, I guess what we're really saying is like, what's like a game that like realistically like would just be such a bad time, but it's definitely possible that someone out there actually was like, I have an idea, like. First date.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried this? It's called Magic the Gathering.
That's probably pretty bad. But I feel like a few people would be into that. Can you imagine going out on a first date? You don't know anything about the other person. And you're like, have you ever played Magic? And they're like, what's that? And you're like, take your decks out. Well, it was designed by Richard Garfield. And
well, you're like literally describing me.
Yeah, can you imagine how awful it would be to go on a date with a person like that? Least bad in the top 100 would probably be Crokinole. I feel like you could like put Crokinole in front of a non-gamer and
my god, that's actually like peak. Like if you whipped out the Crokinole board on first date,
you come with a big circle on your back.
You are getting laid, like guaranteed, you know. I want to shout out asexuals real quick. I'm going to say the words laid. I'm going to keep it simple for our audience because they aren't Mensa select types. But whenever I'm talking about like having sex, like whatever the asexual alternative is, legitimately, like that's what's happening to you. Like I'm not trying to exclude you.
I think if somebody told me I went on a date and I brought out blank and then they weren't into it, the thing that would scare me the most is a legacy game. But I also don't think anyone would do that. Because that reeks of like, I know this is going places. We're going to at least meet 10 more times and do this again. It's such a red flag to me.
No, I would be charmed by their optimism. I'd be like, oh, you really thought this was going to happen again, huh?
I think you're in the minority. I think if somebody brought an unopened Pandemic Legacy Season 1 to our first date, I would be like, I'm out. Bye.
Pandemic Legacy S1, there are way worse legacy titles. They could be pulling out My City.
No, I'm just...
Shout out Reiner Knizia.
But My City's more chill. It's like I'm just saying, like, you don't know anything about the other person. They're not a gamer. You bring Pandemic Legacy Season 1. That's giving me goosebumps.
Right.
Lacerda, but Lacerda seems like the easy answer, too. You bring on Mars.
I think any lifestyle game on like date one is definitely like unhinged behavior.
Yeah. Any lifestyle game.
Netrunner,
you bring
Magic
your
the Gathering.
You bring your tackle kit with your Warhammer army, and you're like, I brought a second one for you. Just don't damage any of the pieces.
like unless you've been having that conversation for weeks leading up to it, and you're meeting at the board game store because you literally somehow got on like Bumble for Warhammer players, like that's different. That's one thing, but we're talking about like this was your idea because you were on regular ass Tinder and you like somehow synced up.
No, I think worst case scenario, you connect on Tinder, you say, I can't wait for us to meet. I can finally show you my hobby. And then the other person's like, what's that? And you're like, you'll see. You don't say what it is. You get to the place and it's a food place.
Scary.
It's like a public area where you eat food, like a restaurant or like a food court. You come with two tackle boxes of
my hobby.
Yeah, 2 tackle boxes of Warhammer minis. And then you spend the whole day talking about Warhammer 40K. I think for me, that is the worst board game related date you could possibly concoct.
I can do a better one.
You got a better one?
You specifically. That would be worse.
Right,
and I love how this is not turned into like advice to like what you would actually do. It's like what you shouldn't do.
Well, to know what you should do, you have to know what to avoid, right? So I think we're gonna get
this is like the yang to the yin of like actually getting laid. Like this is how to do the opposite of that most of the time. And this is how I would do it if I was trying to like not fuck you as hard as possible.
Said Tom never to me.
I would say we should meet up like at a food place and I'll show you my hobby. And then I take us to a barbecue place that is like no vegetarian or vegan options whatsoever, guaranteed. And then while you're drinking Diet Pepsi because they are one of those places that doesn't even serve Coke either. I whip out my collector's box of Red Dragon Inn and it's every expansion and I start explaining like the actual lore of like Red Dragon Inn and I'm like, did you know that actually?
We've never talked about Red Dragon before. Oh my God. See, like that's a territory where like I don't even want to joke about it because of how awful that experience was.
I don't even think I've ever played it. I somehow dodged it all this time, and I'm at this point. It's pure curiosity. Like it's
probably not even bad as I remember, but like I told you, right? I went to a game night with like these really awesome people that invited me to their house.
They said, come to our house. We'll show you our hobby.
We played a few games that I wasn't huge on to start with. And then they were like, all right. And now the main course, and they took out the Red Dragon Inn Collector's Edition. I was just re-experiencing the trauma from the first time. And I was just like, this is the only time I've ever done this. But I was like, I'm really, really sorry, but I have played this game before and I didn't have a very good experience with it. I didn't say it was bad. I just left it at that so that they can imagine like, oh my God, what happened to him, you know?
Vaguely made it sound like vague, like trauma occurred. Like,
yeah,
is
like
someone
maybe
like really fucked you up?
Somebody like take that me so hard when I was about to win. Like I just let them create their own imaginary scenario. Is it okay if we play something else or I can just leave? Like the craziest words to come out of my mouth. I don't think I've ever done anything like that at a game night ever. But I just felt like I was taken hostage.
The literal bane of your existence. Like they literally could have pulled out Campaign for North Africa and you'd be more interested.
Yeah, I would at least I'd be curious. But like Red Dragon Inn, Hachi Machi. Oh my goodness.
I'm just trying to imagine the scenario where like the barbecue house like has absolutely no vegetarian options. Like no vegan is one thing. Like they put butter on the rolls or whatever, and like the salad always has cheese or something. Like, they can't
I'll have
take
a
it
salad, and they're like, there is no salad.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure. I know there's places with like no salad for sure, but I'm just trying to think like they couldn't even bring you like a piece of bread, like type of place.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
what
I'm
would
flexible
that be?
enough. I would probably just end up having like a very small amount of meat or something. You know, I wouldn't want to like.
You would just give up just to survive the hellhole of having to play Red Dragon Inn on this bad date.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, how, you know, what does the soul of an animal mean to me in that scenario?
You're like, I'll take their life transference because like otherwise I can't survive.
Give me strength.
It's like being out in the winter cold with like no food, you know, you need the animal fat.
Yeah. Shall we talk about what the ideal date would be like?
Yeah, how do we flip this on its head? How do we make it a good time for everyone involved?
So it's definitely like you both already know the game and like the game. Because you don't have to teach. I don't think you do a new game. No matter what. Even if you're like 100%
Unless the other person's into that.
Yeah. If they love learning new games or something. But like, most of the time I think like it'll be like, I know you like this, and then you already know how to play it, so we can just hit the ground running. I think that's ideal. Mm-hmm. It has to be good at 2 players. So that narrows our options. My question to you is like, does it have to be like a 2-player focused game, or like, do we have a little bit of flexibility here?
Well, it's funny that we're talking about this because I actually have a great counterpoint to what you're saying.
Oh, go for it.
You're saying like, oh, bring out the game that's like classic. You played it before. It's that shared experience. It reminds you about the good times you've had in the past. Yeah. Well, and then imagine like intentionally or not, you also just like trounce the other person, because this literally happened with me and Helena the last time we played Scout. It was like her birthday and I just won 3 times in a row.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, I was like, happy birthday to the ground. Like, you know, and she was like, what the hell? And I was like, I don't know. I just like, I got good all of a sudden, I guess.
Does Helena care about winning though? Because I mean, she probably still had a great experience with you, even if she lost.
No, I mean, no, I know she had a good time, I think. I mean,
I don't think if I got trounced in Scout 3 times, I would be upset.
No, I don't think she was either. I would just say like, you know, this is the way it backfires, is that like you bring a game that you know you both like, but then one of you suddenly has gained an edge that you didn't realize. And then it's like, they're losing, you know, it ruins the whole evening.
Maybe that's the bigger thing, right? Maybe it's like unpleasant game when you're losing. Because like we were joking about Food Chain, but I legitimately think Food Chain is not a good recommendation, even if you both like Food Chain, just because of how unpleasant the game can be when it becomes one-sided, which is often the case. And
the other thing you could say to that, I suppose, is that if you know that your partner or your interest is a sore loser, or if you suspect, I suppose, say you don't know the person that well, but you like suspect that, they have a hard time, maybe bring in the co-ops, you know, because then at least when you lose, it's like, oh, we both lost.
Co-ops are really good here. You probably pick something that is not going to take too long too. Well, I don't know. It depends. It depends on your relationship with the person. I just can't imagine going on a first date and playing Ark Nova. But like, I could see a scenario where you've been together for 10 years and you love playing Ark Nova together. And so after whatever else you do on the date, you go home and you play Ark Nova for the rest of the night.
I'm the kind of freak that brings Ark Nova to the public place. Like I'm playing that in the IHOP.
Oh, are you going to use this table? Do you mind if we grab this table and connect it to ours? Oh, we don't have anyone else coming. It's just us two.
I used to meet up with my buddy all the time at like midnight, and we'd play Power Grid at IHOP. Like, I'm not even kidding.
I think it's weird. I don't think it's like that weird.
I think laying Power Grid out on an IHOP table, because it barely
I'll
fits.
say on the cringe scale, like laying Power Grid out on the IHOP table is like way lower than like, you'll see what my hobby is, and then like later on like busting out the board game.
Because we've had a lot of experiences dining out together where you have been extremely embarrassed by me. So is pulling out Power Grid at an IHOP more embarrassing or less embarrassing than like, asking the waitress if we're in a PvP enabled zone?
Power Grid on the IHOP table is just standard Tom fare. Like that is just like I'm just like roll my eyes. I'm just like, Tom, this is Tom. You know, if the person was new to this, I'd just be like, this is our friend. Like he does stuff like this sometimes. The PvP enabled zone. Have we talked about that?
I don't know if we've done that on the show.
Are you okay with us covering that right now?
Well, your version of events is always so strange, but like all I did was that you were saying something annoying, and I turned to the waitress and was like, is this a PvP enabled zone? And she was like, I don't know what that is. I was like, oh, you know, like you ever play like Call of Duty? And she was like, well, yeah. I think she said she'd played Call of Duty. And I was like, it's just like the area where you can shoot other players. I don't know why I explained this.
So do you think your version is better than my version? Because honestly, I'm listening to what you're saying and it's still pretty bad, Tom.
No. Somehow you make it out like she was going like, like get me out of here. Like, you know,
because she was clearly uncomfortable. Maybe you didn't pick up on it.
Maybe I didn't.
You're taking a person that is like working their job, that's forced to interact with you, and you put them in the situation where you're like, can you settle a question for me? Is this, and then you give a reference that they don't understand. And then instead of dropping it, you explain the reason, and the payoff is like even more uncomfortable than not being in the know.
I guess I maybe this is admittedly where I take it for granted. Cause like, I feel like now I've worked customer service, but not specifically like table serving. But I know
what you're gonna say, and I don't think you should say it.
I'm just saying, if like, you know, if it's like a group of people, it's like roughly my age, and like they're just joshing with me, and they're just like bringing me in on some shit. I'm like always open to that personally, but I can understand. I don't know how you ended up as a server if you're not like into that.
Because you need money, Tom.
Well, there's other ways you could make money. Even
if we live in your sick, twisted world where everybody's like you and enjoys just having like fun, extroverted banter with the people while they're working. Okay. Even in that hypothetical scenario, there's going to be some exceptions, and you don't want to like, you want to be respectful of people, right? But that's not the case. Okay. That is not the case. There's a lot of people that don't feel comfortable having those engagements. And you are now putting this
is like a decade ago, though. I couldn't honestly tell you if the vibes were really that off. Like
it's the equivalent of hitting on the cashier. Like,
well, but that's, I don't know about that.
Tom,
like, are they calling it equivalent? I understand what you're saying generally.
Tom, they're working.
Yeah, I get that, but part of their job is being friendly to customers. Like that's in the job description, you know?
Yeah, well, like part of the janitor's job is cleaning up trash, but you're not going to throw more trash on the ground. What are you saying?
I don't feel like I was putting them out that badly. Now, I mean, like asking
it's their job to interact with me, and then you're like, interact with me.
Asking them out on a date is definitely like an insane line to cross, but like just making like a reference to something video games is like not.
Okay, yes, I will concede that being your audience for a bit is less bad than asking them on a date. It's not that much less bad.
Okay.
Still bad.
This is a hot take. I have to know. I have to know if people are on your side on this. They probably are, because I'm always wrong.
This is one I'm less confident in, but I still feel fairly like people are on my side. Like, you shouldn't be like, what do you think of this joke to your waiter? Don't do that to them.
I don't know, man. This feels like it could turn into like a Northern Lion bit where he'd say something like, just like, we've lost like the humanity in everyday exchanges. Like, yeah, it doesn't always work, you know. Sometimes it just like, you know, that's just being what a human
but there's
is.
but then there's the flip side, Northern Lion, of like, they already got to deal with so much shit, and now you're coming in here like, let me do my stand-up routine.
No, my straw man Northern Lion is the real Northern Lion.
Somehow we've come back to just making bad dates. I don't know, somewhere along the way. Maybe we only know how to make.
Yeah, you're already playing Red Dragon Inn, sipping on your Diet Pepsi. You can't get a single crumb to eat at this barbecue restaurant, and now he's saying weird shit to the waitress. Like that's Kenny's nightmare.
I love the idea that we're just like physically incapable of coming up with a good date. Like,
it kind of explains a lot.
You know that people are like, it's kind of weird for them to do like a wholesome episode where they're talking about having like a romantic moment with their partner, and we come in here, we're like, let me tell you about my special hobby. I won't consider your dietary restrictions. Like, I want to make you feel uncomfortable in public. Okay, can we pick a game? Can we pick a game that we both agree is like a great first date game?
Well, I actually just had the thought. I was going to ask you, do you feel like bringing out Love Letter, it would be laying it on too thick?
I don't think so. I think it's cute. I think it's a cute gesture.
Letter?
You've already both agreed that you want to see each other in a setting explicitly because you're interested in each other.
Yeah, you got a point.
I don't know. Like, you're not saying you love the person. It's just like a romantic themed game. I endorse it. I thumbs up on my part. It's
like safe that it has the word love in the title, but it's not really about like the romance of it. It's about the politics of it, right? So it's like you kind of dodge.
I think if you don't know them well enough, then you probably stick to like less thematic games or games where the theme doesn't really matter. Mm-hmm. And then obviously like simpler games, unless you're 100% sure they're into, at a minimum, video games.
Do you think first date bringing and then we held hands is like too much?
It's the same as taking somebody to an A24 film on a first date. It just really depends on the person.
Okay.
Because that one's a little bit more complex. It's kind of unclear how they're going to respond to it. And like, imagine you don't play board games and you play and then we held hands. You might just be like, I thought it was okay, but I don't know why they're so into board games, you know?
Now, what about consentical?
I mean, it's, where did you meet them?
See, now this is really funny because you're failing to discard nuance, Kenny. And so our content is suffering as a result. I'm bringing up game after game and you're going like, well, it kind of depends on the other person.
That's your job.
Oh, okay. I see.
You're the no nuance. You're the surprise, and I'm trying to keep us grounded over here.
I think consentical is a high risk maneuver.
It's a glass
However,
cannon.
I was gonna say if it works, it probably really works in a way.
It's probably the horniest game that you can bring,
while still having still feeling tasteful. There's definitely hornier games that would be way worse.
Yeah.
Tonto Core.
That's a different kind of horny. That's like an objectification horny, whereas consentical is really about the intimacy. Yeah, Tonto Core is a deck builder with a theme of like waifus. Like, it's not saying anything about the waifus. The only other game I can think of is Fog of Love. That's a pretty intimate game.
I feel like that would be laying it on thick. That would be like my nightmare.
Yeah, that's way too much for
the IHOP and they're pointing out Fog of Love. I'd be like, what?
Yeah, that is way too much for a first date. I agree. Still not as bad as the Red Dragon Inn.
Crokinole is so hot though. Like I'm scrolling through lists of games and seeing Crokinole again, and I'm just like, that it would work on me. Pick. That's all I can say. Yeah. What about Clask?
Clask isn't as sexy as Crokinole.
No, it's not. But it's a 2-player game.
Clask is like very unsexy. Clask is something I play with my grandparents, you know, that's like that vibe. What is it about Crokinole that's so much sexier than Clask?
Maybe it's the circular shape, you know?
The curves.
The objectification of a Crokinole board.
I don't know, Tom. I'm just getting horny now. Thinking about that Crokinole board. What do you think about Sky Team? New game alert.
Sky Team is interesting. I actually think Sky Team would be a weaker pick than almost everything we said except Fog of Love because of the non-communication. I think Sky Team has the same problem as like movie date, first date, where it's like we're not talking to each other. We're just sitting in the dark, staring at a screen. Like, but sure, it's going to be a life-changing experience for me because I'm actually going to watch the movie and not be on my phone. But you talking between rounds of Sky Team, I just feel like it's not enough. I think like straight up though, like better than any of these 2-player like games that are actually trying to be ortho games, like party games basically function a lot better if you can modify them for 2 players. I think like not monikers necessarily, but there's a game that I think this is shelf stable. It's called Oh Really? I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, Tom pause. I think it was like one of the first 10 episodes of the pod. You talked about Oh Really? And you said, I think this would be a great game to bring on a first date.
Well, you know, I'm nothing if not consistent.
You're consistent. Okay? Your amnesia is kicking in. You're like a anime pro tag over here.
People were not listening to that episode, okay? They will listen to this one, but no one was listening to our show.
You said something really funny. I don't remember. Oh, you said like you're on the date and you set your things up and Oh Really? And then they're like, oh, wow, I didn't know that about you. I didn't know that you liked ice cream more than sucking people's toes. And I was like, Tom, what are you talking about?
That's the other thing too. You should modify the copy of O'Reilly or whatever other game you're then put your fetishes in there to like see where they line up.
To suss it out.
Yeah.
The date is like, this seems a little out of place with all the other cards we've seen. And you're like, it's real, I swear.
It's like clearly just like paper. You like, I don't know, put tea bags on it to like age it or turn it brown somehow. Like,
I think O'Reilly is a good one. Any game where you're like learning more about people.
I think Timeline could also be good. The Timeline series of games.
Or like Hitster. Hitster is similar, but for music.
Yeah, exactly. Like where it features like a niche and it invites conversation where you can be like, oh, really? That came out in like 1975?
Oh, you know what's a good one is Medium, which you can play just without anything too. You each say a word at the same time. And then you go 3, 2, 1, and you try to say a word that's in between the two. And then whatever you both say, 3, 2, 1, you try to find something in between those two. And eventually you say the same word at the same time.
Yeah, that one's fun.
Great opener for people because it shows how people think. It shows where your overlap is in pop culture. Yeah, I think that one's great.
We're starting to hit a point where we're like trying to min-max the first date. And like that is really funny to me. It's like striking me all of a sudden.
You want to place your workers out on the different aspects of your personality. Are there any games that are like on paper not sexy, but can potentially be very sexy?
Tom's Sexy Dice game comes to mind.
Well, yeah, but we don't talk about that.
Besides Crokinole, apparently.
I think Wavelength gets pretty horny.
I see where you're coming from, I think.
The Mind?
The mind is like a way to secretly stare into someone's eyes for like minutes at a time. Yeah, that's a good point.
Because tension is just the word sexual tension with the sex taken out.
Okay.
And the mind is just a game of tension, right? You got 4 people around the table that are trying really hard to win. That's tension. But then you take out 2 of those people and you're just trying really hard to bone each other. I'm just saying 2-player the mind. That's pretty sexy.
So what you're saying is you need to like build up like literal sort of tension. This is making me think that like Jenga is actually a really strong candidate here.
Yes, Jenga.
You figure out a way to make Jenga cooperative. So then that way you're like holding the other person's hand like to grab the piece together like Ghost when they're like making the pottery, but you're playing Jenga.
Yeah, we're just describing Twister now.
Twister?
Twister is like the quintessential sexy game. Yeah.
I thought you were talking about like the movie, like that there was a scene in Twister where they play Jenga in a sexy way.
No.
But no, there's a scene in Ghost where they play Twister in a sexy way. I'm kidding. That's But Twister is the like how to make a bunch of high schoolers really weird the game.
Do you think Quacks is sexy? Pull ingredients from your stock to make your pot bubble, but hopefully not explode.
That's pretty good.
I mean, there's some risk, right? Any push your luck is going to create those sentiments in general.
You're talking about Quacks, which made me think about bag pulling games, like games where you're putting your hand in a bag. They should make games that make both players put their hands in a bag at the same time.
Oh, that's good. That's romantic. Like maybe Hanabi. Hanabi might work. Hanabi could be sexy at 2.
Yeah, probably.
But then you have to get over playing Hanabi. At least for me, playing Hanabi is like an instant turn off.
That's funny because I remember when I think I was like the only hater of that game, and you and everyone else was like, "No, it's so good."
No, because we talked about this. I kept trying to convince myself it was a good game, and then I saw the light that you saw. I was just like, I don't have fun when I play this.
That's great, wonderful.
The Gang. Can you even play The Gang 2-player?
This is how me and Helena do it. We just give each other 2 pairs of pocket cards.
Oh, okay. That's a good way to do it.
You know what's funny about The Gang is kind of like, I think I'm starting to come around to it where I'm like, it's actually not all that. I think at 6 players, it's still good, but like,
whoa.
I think like 3 players or even 4, it's almost just simply too easy. Like it's generally very obvious. Definitely gets a lot funnier when at least one person really doesn't understand how to play poker and it's a 6-player, like a full table.
Yeah.
It kind of needs that for me at this point. That's my update on The Gang.
Wow, I'm like shocked. That's crazy.
I still have a lot of fun bringing that out. I think I would bring it on something like a first date potentially, just because it has that familiarity of being poker fundamentally.
Yeah, but then you're like the poker person, you know?
Yeah, it's a lot better for polyamorous people that are like trying to impress multiple people at the same time. Like if you're the unicorn going in,
I think if you bring The Gang to like a polycule, you're just trying to have a fun game night. If you bring The Gang to a 2-person date, you're like the person that's showing pictures of the fish they caught. Nobody cares, you know? And then you talk about poker theory and it's like I snooze, you know?
I love the idea that like someone brought a game to a polycule and it wasn't already a game night. Like it's already a game night. It's a polycule.
You don't know. Maybe we're watching like a Lord of the Rings marathon or something.
Yeah, you got me.
How to get uninvited from the polycule. Hey, I brought Red Dragon.
In my experience, that would actually go over very well. I think if you brought Cards Against to the polycule, that is actually how you get uninvited. Yeah. For real.
That's easy.
In this day and age, in 2026, bringing Cards Against Humanity to the fucking anything, to bringing it to anything. What are we doing? All right. We got to get out of here before we offend any more people or interest groups.
I think
sorry, Elon Musk. I hope this helped you.
You want to lead us out?
That's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. I mean, seriously, if you're still here, you're amazing. You're wonderful. We love you. Thank you especially to Michael, Tyler, Devon, and Josh of the Boise RainBeaus for your sweet segue music. And thank you to Bonehouse for letting us use your song Raw as the opening theme.
Yep. If you're loving the cast, share it with a friend. Share it on your date, or on Reddit, or on BGG. You can also reach out to us directly.
Great first date ideas, like check out this show, and it's episode 1 of Shelf Stable.
You hit play, and then you just hold out the phone in front of them the entire dinner.
You had no headphones.
You gotta listen.
You were just blasting it in the IHOP.
You gotta listen to this. It's only an hour and 20 minutes long. If you want to reach out to us directly at shelfstablecast@gmail.com, you can do that too. All this and more available in the show notes. And if you want to make more of this happen, consider subscribing to us on Patreon. You'll get access to bonus content and Discord. Tom, I think we're actually going to hold off on announcing the next topic because the logistics of next week might depend on a few things that are still being figured
Kenny,
out.
I think we're just going to do something, or we might not.
There we go. All right. Bye, everyone. Stay horny.